All right, so let's go in and let's blur this. Now, just like we were doing before when I was talking about these adjustments under image, that is going to destroy the actual image there. We want to keep things non-destructive. Everything that I'm showing you guys is done in a non-destructive manner. And the reason for that is you might have a client or maybe a boss or somebody who they're not really good at communicating things to you. They don't really know how to say things. And when they see the image, they might want to change it. So the more opportunity you have to go back and change things, the better for you. And even if you're your own boss or a client or whatever, you might eventually say that you want to change things, or you maybe want to grab this dinosaur later on. And if you've gotten rid of all the information by doing something destructive, you can't come back and get it. Now, the downside to this is it's going to require a little bit more memory and more space. But the way the computers are working nowadays, I don't think that that's going to be much of a problem. As you get better and better with Photoshop, you're going to go through and collapse your layers once you're happy with them. But for right now, I'm going to try to give you as many outs as possible. All right, let's actually go in and do this. So what we need to do, and we talked about this before with the dog, is we're going to go and change our T-Rex into a smart object. I'm going to right click or control click there, and then T-Rex, convert to smart object. Now we've saved a copy of the T-Rex in the background. It's good to go. If I were to go double click here on my T-Rex, you can see that it's actually saving a copy of this file in there. If I were to let's say give T-Rex a little dot on the head, on this hat there. And save it. When I come back here, you can see now the T-Rex has a dot on its head. Let's go back and get rid of that. Right, so it's actually saving its own like small mini document within the bigger document. So that's the reason why it's going to collect a little bit more space, but it's going to keep things nice. Now, once we've got that smart object, if we were to apply a filter, you can see that some of these filters are not going to be available, and that's because they actually have to re-render something, but most of them are. So I'm going to use something called Gaussian Blur. You'll get like a little sample of it here. And once again, kind of using both of these as a way to kind of track it, I'm going to increase the amount of blur, which they call radius, checking to see how those two kind of look together. So actually, I'm going to just on this one, zoom in just a little bit more. And see, if we go too far, you'll just kind of blur out completely. Is not what we want. So let's go to about 4 there. All right. Okay. And now if we look, T-Rex is looking good. Now, if you noticed, have a little bit of a problem here. We've got this, the blur is kind of extending out beyond these two areas here. So what we can do is if we select these and we click on that mask area, there's something called feathering. So I'm going to turn off first the low contrast. And I'm just going to kind of, if I increase the feather by about 4 points, that works. Same thing here. Increase the feathering. A little bit too much. We can just kind of push it out just a little bit. All right. The other thing that we can do is go into the mask. We've got the mask selected. Remember that black will hide and white will reveal. So I want to actually reveal things, kind of like turning the light on something. I'm going to use my brush tool, just like we were doing with quick mask mode. And then I'm just going to go. You can see as I do this, I'm actually painting on this area here. And we're getting,
I found this on the web for this area here.
So if I go back and I just kind of paint, I'm going to bring the opacity down on my brush a little bit just because we want to smooth this in. And if I just go, you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm just kind of bringing in that sense of haze around there and getting rid of that kind of orangish color. And we'll speed this up so you guys don't have to see the whole thing. All right, there we are. That guy looking a lot better. If we look at what we had before, TRX without the cool tones, without the low contrast, and without the TRX, without the blur. So you can see how each of these different things makes the TRX feel like it is further and further away. All right, in the next section, we're going to bring in a little bit more of our other dinosaurs here, and we're going to kind of help with the composition.